Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Discmakers. In mid-June, Drake released his latest album titled Honestly Nevermind. And immediately, critics and longtime fans started trashing the release. Why? Because for this album, his 11th, Drake changed his style pretty drastically from his familiar sing-song pop hip-hop that fans were used to dance music. Most of the tracks on the album were house or other dance genres, and his fans just weren't buying it. This got me thinking about the unique challenges that longtime artists face. Artists who've been around for many years like Metallica, Madonna, Bruce Springsteen, Taylor Swift, Jay-Z, and maybe you. How do they stay popular? And perhaps just as important, how do they stay relevant? If you're a longtime artist, there are two forces pulling you in separate and opposing directions. Think about it. There's one force pulling you left to keep doing basically what you've been doing. This is what got you to where you are today, which got you to the peak of your popularity. And then there's a second force pulling you right to change things up, try different musical styles or stylings, to keep things fresh, to evolve artistically. These two forces pose quite the dilemma for artists who've been around for multiple album cycles. If you keep following your established formula, it's certainly familiar, and therefore it's comfortable. You keep your existing fans happy, but it's also very hard to stay fresh and to turn out great tracks, album after album, without your songs starting to sound formulaic. Been there, done that kind of repetitiveness. I know as a music fan, I've experienced this many times with new albums by artists that I've been following for a long time. Yes, it's familiar, but it's also almost kind of boring and sometimes pedestrian. So there may be a track or two that I dig on an album, but somehow it doesn't end up living up to the older music by that artist that I loved. And of course, as an artist, you can actually get kind of tired, even bored, with doing basically the same thing over and over and over again. Sometimes you just want to try something fresh. As artists, we don't just live in our own bubble. We listen to music just like our fans do. We listen to other artists. We don't listen just to our own genre, but we listen to many genres, and we are influenced by those other artists and other genres. And over the years, as popularity of different genres waxes and wanes, we might be inspired by newly popular genres, and some of their features might work their way into our music, like Drake did in a rather significant way. So what happens if, as an artist, you decide to go in a different direction stylistically? Well, you might certainly feel artistically energized by doing something fresh and new. The big question is, will your fans be into it? Like happened with Drake, fans frequently don't respond well to something new initially. They will criticize and they'll rebel. But will you actually lose fans? You might, but it's not likely to make a huge difference. Some fans might come around eventually to your new style. In fact, in Drake's case, his new album did end up hitting #1 on the charts, his 11th album out of 11 to do so. Not a bad track record. And then get this, your old fans who liked your old music, they didn't actually go away. They may not like your new album, but they will still listen to your old music. Like, I don't care for recent Kanye, but everything up to and including My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is brilliant, and I still listen to it. And in today's streaming world, where artists are paid per stream, your income stream from your older fans for that reason won't dry up completely, even if they don't care for your latest musical direction. They'll still listen to your old stuff. When I think of artists who were masters at reinvention, The Clash comes to mind. They started as a British punk rock band, then introduced strong reggae influences and eventually added funk and even disco elements. And some of their fan base absolutely hated every stop of that evolution. But if you consider all of the Clash's musical works today, they remain one of the most influential rock bands of the late 70s and the 80s. In fact, as a side note, if you're interested, there's a really well-done podcast about The Clash and their history, narrated by Chuck D of Public Enemy. It came out in 2019 and it's called Stay Free, The Story of The Clash. I recommend it. All right, let me get back to the question I started with. As an artist, should you stay the course or should you experiment? And my answer is, you should make the kind of music that you feel. Music that speaks to you, that energizes and inspires you. If it's similar to what you've done in the past and you can keep creating high quality records, great. If it's something very different and new, also great. You're an artist. You have to feel what you're doing, not pursue a certain style or genre because it seems like your best shot at making it, whatever that means. If you're not inspired and energized by your music, if you're not feeling it, it will never be as good as it could possibly get. So do what you feel. And don't worry about what the fans and critics say. Being true to yourself is key to longevity as an artist. So I hope you found this helpful, and I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Leave a comment beneath this video and let me know how you feel about consistency versus changing things up musically. Have you made musical changes? How's that worked out for you? Can you tell if you lost or gained fans? How that change impacted your streaming counts? I look forward to reading your responses, and I'm sure everybody else is looking forward to it as well who's watching this video. See you next time.